Hello YouTube, the Kingpin of Cinema,
with the QB999.
and we are here for our latest movie review.
Well, it's right now 1 a.m., so it was a later show of the newest,
Zack Snyder film.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah, Sucker Punch.
He was...
You didn't see it coming because it was a Sucker Punch.
Alright.
So anyhow...
he's been known for his movies such as 300...
Watchmen, the Dawn of the Dead remake, the Owls of Ga'Hoole. I didn't see that one.
So very stylish movies. And if you were to sum this movie up in a word, that would be it, probably.
Yeah, we saw this in the IMAX kind of screening.
It's an iTony. That's what we call it. It's at Regal Theaters, it's like half the size of a regular IMAX screen, but you still get the sound, so...
Yeah, you get the sound quality and you get the picture quality. And I gotta say, the reason why I wanted to see this in IMAX digital quality is because Watchmen looked fantastic on an IMAX screen.
Well, everything does.
Not everything.
Most of everything.
No.
Yeah.
No. The last good movie I saw in IMAX quality, picture quality, the last good movie I saw in IMAX was Watchmen. I've seen many other movies in IMAX and was not impressed by the picture quality since Watchmen. But how does this one compare? I'd say this one, quality-wise, is really good.
Thank God they didn't put it in 3D.
Yeah, there was a moment where they were talking about putting this film in 3D and converting it, and thank God they didn't. Because I am so fed up with this 3D post-conversion nonsense that the more directors that decide not to do it, thank you. We've had enough.
Alright, a lot of people have been not liking this movie for a few reasons. First off, they say it's over-stylized. And secondly, the story makes no sense. Two things that
are... no character development.
No character... You know what? I'm gonna say, all these things are true. But but for what this movie's trying to do, it works. Except for the character development. That one's just fuck up.
What I'm gonna say is that, okay, the complaint of it being over-stylized, no. The style of the film is really cool, and everything technical about this film, the filmography, the action, the visual effects, are all really cool. Now, in terms of story and character, yes, it does drop the ball.
Well, I say it is oversized because that kind of goes with the theme of this is all supposed to be someone's imagination. And in that sense, it's supposed to kind of look over the top and unreal.
Yeah, and that's good, but I don't know, when you say over-stylized, it sounds like it's a bad thing. I mean, to me, it just sounds like...
That's what I'm saying, is that other people are saying it as if it's a bad thing.
Yeah, and
I do say it is over-stylized, but not in that sense.
Yeah, it does look really, really, really good. But this is a very flawed film, and this is a very hard film to like. Personally, I thought it was okay.
But we still liked it.
I think it was okay, and it really wasn't until like the last 40 minutes or so where I really started liking the film. Up to that point, I was having a really hard time liking the movie.
Let's see if we can kind of put this story together. You have this girl...
Baby doll,
and her little sister, their mom dies. Stepfather is kind of, yeah, get all this riches. But of course in the will, the mom leaves everything to the daughters. He flips out.
He does what any reasonable man does. He gets drunk and goes on a murderous rampage. That's how I solve all my problems.
So anyway, one thing leads to another. The little sister gets killed.
It's not really determined whether if he was the one that did it, or if Baby Doll shooting the gun blindly in the general direction where they both were was the cause of it.
So anyway, she gets put into a mental hospital.
And basically, we establish practically in the beginning of the film that this mental institution is corrupt. They're taking patients in that are not insane. And the father basically pays all this money to this orderly to get her lobotomized.
And so they're talking about how it's going to happen in 5 days. And this is kind of when the movie first takes its first big turn. Suddenly, it becomes a brothel scene.
Yeah, and a movie tries to play it off as, okay, everything you saw before was the dream, and what we're seeing now is what's really going on. And it's such a huge transition. I think that was a major error on the film's part, because I was like, okay...
It kind of leaves you scratching your head, confused, wondering what the hell is going on, and when, especially with a movie like this, you kind of want your audience...
going along with what's happening on screen.
And to really understand what's going on. You don't want them to just sit down for the next 30 minutes going, I'm confused, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, because now we're all scratching our big, thick monkey craniums going, huh? What? Who? How? And that's usually not a good sign when your audience becomes lost within the first 25 minutes of your movie.
So suddenly you're in this brothel.
It's basically like the whole movie starts over.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's basically the only way to put it, is the whole movie starts over. It's a movie within a movie.
Baby doll starts meeting up with the other girls, tries to come up with a plan for escaping, and during each attempt, what she does is, like, she's supposed to be some great exotic dancer, but every time she starts dancing, she kind of goes into her own little trance.
Her own imaginary world. And you never see the actual dance. It's left to the imagination, and I actually really like that they took that turn by not showing you what the dance actually is. It leaves it to the imagination.
Morgan really wanted to see it, though, because she's a lesbian that way.
Don't! I was curious.
Well, that's how lesbianism starts out. Curiosity. Anyhow.
So, during these long dance episodes, this is when things just start getting insane.
And it's basically, this is what the whole movie boils down to, is really showing off special effects and over-the-top action sequences.
With epic fight scenes, with the most bizarre creatures and just random-ass shit that you could think of. It's as if when they were writing this movie, they were thinking, what can be some cool things to fight? Robot samurai with Gatling guns and rocket launchers. Alright, that sounds good. Just big-ass dragons and orcs. That sounds good. How about the Hellgast, powered by steam engines and clockwork? Good, throw it in.
Basically, it's going through different artistic styles. You have your anime manga style, anime kind of fight sequence. You have your steampunk action World War I world.
You have your fantasy
Lord of the Rings with dragons, and then you got your cyberpunk settings.
And they all did a pretty good job with each one of those settings. With the anime style one, you have like the big snowfield with the tall mountains in the background, the hazy mist all around.
It does look good, but now we kind of get into the problems that I was kind of having with these. You really don't know the characters, so it's really hard. I mean, for me, it was really hard to get excited for these action sequences because I don't know who the characters are. I really don't know what's at stake, and there's really no tension because since this is an imaginary world, no one can really get hurt or die. So it looks cool, but you can get bored with it.
But then, as he was saying, about towards like the third dream sequence,
the last dream sequence, there actually becomes a moment where something in the dream is coinciding with reality that causes the person to fuck up.
Things are going wrong.
Things start going wrong. And really, this should have been an element in every dream sequence. That way, if they're like starting to fuck up something in the dream, you see them in reality fucking up, and then it becomes a like, oh shit moment. How do I salvage this and how do I fix this? Because then we can like actually get more excited about what's going on. We can have tension within the film.
Overall, I like the sequences.
Like I keep saying, like I'm a broken record here, they look cool, and really the last action one was really the moment where I really started liking the film. Though I also do like the steampunk world, and it kind of made me wish that was like the whole movie.
With all the huge-ass zeppelins, the planes...
Planes, mech robots, steam-powered Germans. What wasn't there not to like?
Anyway, so they're trying to do all this so they can get like 4 certain items. So there's the map so they know where to go. There's a lighter so they can create a distraction.
A knife to fend off anyone that gets in their way. A key to unlock their way out. And then the fifth one was a mystery.
And then as they progress, as they kind of get to the third item, things just start going to hell.
Yeah.
You think, okay, this is all over. They're not going to get out of here. Which spoiler, most of them don't.
Yeah, basically, I'm gonna say it right now. Basically, the whole brothel is within itself a dream. This whole time, the whole movie is taking place within the asylum, but all the brothel stuff is
actually happening.
It's a lot of it's happening, but it's all really a dream. And so, I'm guessing the characters you see do die in real life.
The whole thing is that she doesn't want to get lobotomized at the very beginning. Maybe the fact that these women were also, that happened to them too as well, or something else happened. You're never really sure.
Yeah, because, the movie, when the movie starts getting good is when characters start dying. Because now there's actual tension to the film, and there's actually character development. Things start happening.
And then, of course, so they finally, kind of get to this point where it's all or nothing. They get all the items they need. Yeah. And right now it's just down to Sweet Pea and Baby Doll.
Baby Doll.
So they initiate the plan, The guy who's supposed to be initiating all of this, the orderly, Blue is his name.
Yeah.
He gets stabbed. They start running off, and they get out, but then, you have guards at the gate. They're stuck there. That's when Baby Doll realizes, okay, I'm the final item for Sweet Pea to get out.
A distraction so she can get out and live her life. And then they start saying all this stuff about, this was never really my story, it was hers.
Kind of sounds like Final Fantasy X to me.
Yeah. So in the end, Sweet Pea escapes, Baby Doll gets lobotomized, and the bad guy is arrested.
Yeah, and it turns out that and that's kind of when you find out, okay, the whole brothel thing was a dream, and really they were in the asylum, but everything that was happening apparently did happen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the orderly, though, he's starting to kind of go insane. And that's when the doctors find out this guy's been selling out patients.
Selling out patients and forging signatures for people to get lobotomized. And, you're basically the film's saying, you really hate this guy. You really need to hate this guy. And, you kind of do. It's satisfying to see him go down. But, I hopefully kind of get an idea why it is that I had such a hard time trying to like this film.
It is hard to like at first. It takes a while. It's kind of like cold water. You gotta get in and get used to it.
I'm kind of just now thinking that maybe instead of being a movie, if this was a comic or a manga or a graphic novel.
That's probably the style he was going for.
It probably would have worked better in that format and not so much in a film format.
Yes.
Yes.
It is a graphic novel.
No.
Isn't it?
No.
I thought it was based off one.
As far as I know, this is completely original.
From the reviews I read, they said that it was based off a graphic novel.
Maybe. I honestly don't know, because I was under the impression this was all Zack Snyder's just shit that he came up with. Because he wanted to showcase how creative he can be on his own merits, and not based off of a previous existing property like Watchmen and 300.
We'll look that up later and find out.
We'll post in the comics section of whether or not that is true, but for right now I'm saying that I think this was all just him, and not based off of any previous property.
So overall with this movie, like we said, it is hard to like it at first.
It's okay. It's difficult. I mean,
it's one of those movies you do have to turn off your brain for.
I'm probably going to end up mulling this one over in my head, just thinking about it, analyzing it more over the weekend. Maybe by Monday, I'll be like, hey, it's a great movie, or I'll be like, hey, I fucking hate it, or hey, it's okay.
I left the theater entertained. I enjoyed it, especially the last part of the movie. It was much better than I anticipated.
Yeah, and really, if at the end of the day, if you come out of the film entertained, then to me that was worth it.
If you are going to see it, definitely see it with a digital projector. If possible, IMAX, if you can afford it.
Yeah, if you can afford it. Look up your local screenings and find out if it is a digital projector, because you're not going to get the same quality on film stock than you would on digital. So definitely watch it on digital.
Either way, hard movie to really get used to, but I liked it. I thought it was worth it. I think you're going to have to mull it over a little bit more and actually decide.
So, would you recommend this film to say go see it or don't go see it?
I would have to say go see it, just for the style of it. But I will say, this movie's not for everyone.
Yeah.
There is definitely a niche audience for this one.
Yeah, I really can see this film becoming a cult classic. I'm definitely not going to see any kind of sequels coming out of this, because how could you sequelize this movie? Really, there's really nothing else to comment on. I can't comment on the acting because there was really no characters.
Oh, the soundtrack I thought was really good.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's something that Zack Snyder is really good for, is having a really great soundtrack in his movies.
Of course, in a lot of the dream sequences, you have, the hard rock playing in the background.
It's all songs that he likes, and they do fit the scenes in the moments.
Yeah.
Oh, the girls in the movie, they recorded those songs that are playing.
Not all of them, because some of them were... I know at least one song was from Jefferson Airplane.
Well, I mean, it's not...
One pill is small and one pill is big, will make you big, one pill will make you small.
Yeah.
They might have recorded some of their own music.
It's not like they sung it. I know it's not on their own song, but they sung it.
Okay, so they basically were like a cover band.
Yeah.
Okay.
They covered a lot of the songs.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
Still, anyway, so the music was good.
Yeah.
Definitely a good choice for him. Anyway, I think that's about all we can say.
It's a hard film to comment on. I think, honestly, most people are going to hate it.
That's definitely true.
And it's already looking like that right now. I think most people are going to hate it, and this is probably not going to make its money back here in the States. I can see this overseas being really big, but here...
probably not as much.
I think it's too simplistic for people to really latch onto and really fight for this one. Some will. Some people in the depths of the
There's
internet.
always people who are going to latch onto stuff like this and tell the rest of the world that they're wrong.
That they're stupid and wrong, and Zack Snyder is a genius. The man is not perfect, kids. People make mistakes. Oh, another thing I thought was funny about the movie, they had the moment from Dawn of the Dead where he had the propane tank with the flare tied onto it.
Also, I thought there was a guy in here, the mayor, who was a perfect representation of you. Just a pimp. Got a big-ass stogie.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite characters.
Didn't have to say a word.
I'm going to go ahead and say, just go see this movie. Form your own opinion of it. I always encourage people to go out and film your own opinion of it. And
then come back on our comments and tell us how stupid we are.
Please do. I love these comments. They're a lot of fun.
Anyway.
I think that's all we have for now. Thanks for listening.
And as always, if you don't like it,